Feminism. It is a common topic of discussion and review among females in our world today, one in which many have strong and differing opinions. These conversations are helpful, insightful, and lead to a better understanding of the topic itself. But is there room for males in these conversations? And if so, what does the male's role look like? These are the questions we are attempting to answer in How to Be a Male Feminist. Let's begin our journey with some of the faces that male feminists can look like.
First we have the nice guy. The nice guy is easily recognized due to his inclination to repeatedly state the phrase, "I'm a nice guy." Although the female does not care, he may continue to establish his nice guy status by recounting past romantic wrongs he has endured and his convinced rationale that, in the end, girls just want jerks. As he begins to discuss his beliefs on feminism, he may compare himself to other self-proclaimed feminists, such as Joseph Gordon-Levitt or Aziz Ansari. He may even drop in a Sheryl Sandberg reference, but once he is questioned on women's issues, such as job equality...
So you really think men and women deserve equal pay?
Oh, no. I was just saying that stuff so I could sleep with you later. I mean, I believe in equality between men and women, but equal pay for women? That's just preposterous.
His thin facade begins to fall apart. Now let's take a look at another face of the male feminist, the pity party. Commonly seen at feminist rallies and functions, the pity party is recognized by his innate desire to make feminist causes about himself. He may be overheard explaining his disgust for the porn industry and the ways in which it poorly affected his performance. But when asked about his ideas of feminism before these problems occurred...
So before you had your problems, what were you doing to help fight the patriarchy?
Well, it wasn't until the patriarchy started to keep the party down, if you know what I mean, that I could understand the true struggle, man.
It becomes clear that the only party happening here is a pity party. And while it is true that the patriarchy does have negative effects on men, this approach works to silence females by taking feminism and turning it into a male-centered issue. What the pity party lacks is empathy. Alison Gray defines this as the ability to be moved by feelings of another, despite not being in the situation yourself.
Sorry, Mr. Pity Party. Until you learn to empathize, I suggest you consult a doctor about your problems, not a feminist. Lastly, we have the eager beaver. Recognized for his excitement and own self-conceived understanding of women's issues, the eager beaver will make his opinions known, loud and clear. He is most likely very well educated on the topic, and he may even be well recognized for supporting the feminist movement.
But when his ideas and decisions are challenged...
I don't think we should publish your article. Honestly, it's kind of preachy and shows your lack of understanding of your own male privilege.
You want to talk about privilege? Okay, we'll talk about privilege. What about your idiot privilege? It would seem you've gotten so used to people not calling you out for being an absolute f***ing moron that you've become blind to how your asshat actions affect others.
Pretty insightful, huh? That was a direct quote from the creator of the Equality for Women's Facebook page and a recipient of the National Women's Political Caucus's annual Good Guy Award, Charles Clymer.
Take a tip from blogger Kate Stoffel, Mr. Eager Beaver. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen.
Though Mr. Eager Beaver is well versed, he forgot one of the most basic rules for all feminists. Listen and learn. Be aware of your inherent privilege as a male and be able to take some constructive criticism.
Maybe you're right. I'll take a second look at this article and revise some things. Would you proofread it for me before we publish it? I guess sometimes I don't even know what I've taken for granted.
Of course.
Now that's more like it.
So in conclusion, it seems that...
Hold on. After seeing those examples, things are still a little confusing. I don't feel like there's any way for me to be a feminist without doing it the wrong way.
What's your name, son?
Little Jimmy, man.
Well, little Jimmy, let's take a moment to understand what feminism really is. Adichie defines feminism as a person who believes in the social, political, and economic equality of the sexes, and various gender identities.
And I really believe that.
That's great for you, but in addition to believing this, you have to remember to be aware of your male privilege.
What's that again?
Well, here, let me show you an example. Women's issues need to be discussed and dealt with, not just ignored and swept under the rug.
You suck.
Okay, now you try.
Women's issues need to be discussed and dealt with, not ignored and swept under the rug.
My point exactly.
Well, I can't help that I'm a male. Can I use that privilege to fight for the cause?
Well, yes. Blogger Derek Clifton reminds us that you can use your male privilege to encourage other men to work towards gender equality under women's leadership. Just remember not to fall into the trap of the eager beaver. Feminism is a woman's issue. Remember to follow their lead and be open to criticism.
Okay, I think I'm starting to understand.
Little Jimmy, the bottom line is that the male feminist should take the role of a supportive ally.
I am a supportive ally. Just last week I called out these guys on the street for catcalling some girls.
And that's great, Jimmy, but being an ally isn't about getting a pat on the back anytime you do something pro-feminist. Clifton says that it's about making sure your actions aren't sexist, transphobic, or reinforcements of gender-based bigotry.
Okay, that makes sense.
Good. And if you do decide to identify as a feminist, remember to be patient with women who may seem suspicious of you. Stoffel explains that there is something suspicious about anyone eager to identify with the oppressed.
I get it. Actions speak louder than words.
Exactly. And remember that anytime you may be questioning your motives or beliefs, don't pretend to have experience you don't have. It is much more respectable to refer to a female friend in times of confusion rather than come up with an uneducated answer on your own.
Got it.
Well, little Jimmy, if you make sure that you're conscious and educated about all of these things, you'll be a great ally for the feminist movement. Yeah. And you can too. So to all you nice guys, pity parties, and eager beavers, don't become discouraged. Just take a moment to really look at your motives for calling yourself a feminist. Are you really concerned about women's issues, or are you just concerned with the ways in which being a feminist benefits you? Figure it out, boys.